breaking news from Carroll County.
Police continue to search for two teenage girls who went missing early yesterday.
Richard Allen's trial and conviction was meant to bring us justice and closure in a situation that gripped the nation. But after several bizarre judicial rulings, this case ended up at the state Supreme Court.
The Indiana Supreme Court issued a ruling this afternoon that Richard Allen's original attorneys will be reinstated. Additionally, the special judge, Fran Gull, will be able to continue presiding over the case.
And a lot of us wondered, is this justice? And in a story of strange occurrences, another strange occurrence happened recently, because Richard Allen has just been moved from Indiana to Oklahoma. And since timing is everything in these stories, I've got to ask the question why. I'll explain exactly what I'm talking about. Welcome to the point. Everything's alleged. Let's get to it. Now, right off the bat, for those of y'all who don't know, this is what came across the news feed.
The man convicted of two girls in Delphi, Indiana, is now serving his sentence in Oklahoma. Richard Allen was transferred this week. We're working to learn why.
Now, what's strange here in this situation so far, I'm not saying there's anything nefarious going on, but what's odd here is nobody knows why. And yes, while the timing is odd here, I want to say up front, this isn't something that's uncommon. It doesn't happen a lot, but it has happened in the past. Inmates have been known to move from one state to another, either for safety, overcrowding, health services, and things like that. And as always, when something pops up in the Delphi situation, I go to Delphi Docs and I found this right here. For those of you who have been asking about Rick's current situation, I want to share some important updates. He has recently been transferred to a facility in Oklahoma, a decision that reflects both his wishes and his needs for a supportive environment. A few weeks ago, Rick expressed a strong desire to be moved to the general population, commonly known as Gen Pop. This change is quite significant for him because it opens up a range of opportunities, including access to various educational programs and job training initiatives. Additionally, he'll be able to participate in regular church services, which play a crucial role in nurturing his spiritual health. The choice to relocate him to an out-of-state facility was made after thorough consideration of his safety and civil rights. The Department of Correction officials involved in the decision determined this new setting would pose a lower risk to him, allowing him to distance himself from previous circumstances that might have jeopardized his security. On a positive note, Rick's mental health appears to be in an exceptionally stable and uplifting state, more so than I have ever witnessed in him before. He seems to be experiencing a turning point in his life, demonstrating a newfound motivation and readiness to take charge of his future. It's inspiring to see him striving for personal growth and positive change. While it's true that Oklahoma isn't the most convenient location for family visits, the benefit to Rick's overall well-being makes this move worthwhile. I kindly ask that you keep Rick and his family in your thoughts and prayers during this transition. Now, Alan Prickman had said up front he doesn't know if this is 100% reliable, so I'm not telling you this is 100% reliable, but is this the truth? If it is the truth, which it may very well be, I'm not saying it's not, but if it is, what's odd to me is it separates him and his wife. And we all know up to this point, the one thing Richard Allen needs the most in his life is Kathy. That's not a secret, that shouldn't be a mystery to anybody. So there is some potential that this move is just another strange situation where everything's on the up and up. They have Richard's best intentions and this is just the best thing for him, and he can do all the things in prison he needs to do while he's awaiting his pills, since we all know he's not guilty of this crime. And I know that's a shock to a lot of people. He was found guilty. Obviously that means he's guilty. Well, I got a newsflash for everybody. While not everybody who claims to be innocent is actually innocent, not everybody who is guilty is actually guilty. But let's talk about some of these strange occurrences and odd timing. Number one, the transcripts have came out. Now, as I was making my videos on this particular story, as the trial was moving forward, I kept saying I'm waiting to see the evidence. I kept waiting to say, I'm waiting for the state to prove to me Richard Allen committed this crime, and I never saw it. Now, while typically justice is supposed to be transparent, in the state of Indiana, not so much. No cameras, limited seating, and only members of the media could review the exhibits. The most frequent comment back I got on those videos was, I wasn't there, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Well, I'm here to tell you folks the transcripts are available. You can go read them yourself. I've went through almost everything I talked about in my videos with the exclusion of Brad Weber, and I can tell you everything I said on this video came out to be what was said in the actual trial. So the news reports I followed were accurate, the content creators I followed were accurate, and it was proven through those transcripts that that round did not match Richard Allen's weapon exclusively. There was no DNA of Richard Allen at the crime scene. There was no DNA or evidence of the victims in Richard Allen's home. The timing was off. The phone was actually moved. And if there's no connection, I just gotta say it, there's no crime. There should have been a connection there, and yes, DNA was found at the crime scene. None of it was Richard Allen's. So how on earth that jury found him guilty, we'll never know, because none of us got to view anything. It seemed to me they came to the determination Richard Allen was guilty of this crime, because if not him, then who? That's just not how it works. But anyways, yes, the transcripts are available. Is that one of the reasons Richard Allen was moved? He is coming up on an appeal. When something happens within that appeal, I'll let you know. But that is certainly odd timing, and there's other odd timing not a lot of people are talking about. And to be fair, I forgot but was reminded in my comment section. Now, if you follow Delphi in this story, and the story behind the story, then you're fully aware of the Flora fires. And for those of y'all who don't know and need to be reminded, in 2016 in their Flora apartment, 4 sisters were passed away by fire. Somebody set that apartment on fire, and that case was unsolved. When all this stuff came out about the odinist, and that debate started about is there a nexus, no there's not a nexus, and all that nonsense, within the odinist documentation there became a potential leak, allegedly speaking of course, that some of those individuals involved in the odinism and the potential passing of Abby and Libby were linked to the Flora fires. That crime was never solved. That story didn't get a lot of traction for whatever reason. But online speculation and rumor mill says that the individuals in the Odinist document are very dangerous. And they have potential connections with other individuals within the prison system. And if the FBI is investigating the Flora fires, then Richard Allen would potentially be a loose end, so to speak, since it was him that brought additional attention to a case that deserved to be solved and deserved as much attention as Libby and Abby. So the timing is odd, the situation is odd. Right around the time Richard Allen is moved from Indiana to Oklahoma, you have the FBI opening up an investigation into the Flora fires and a transcript release. I would love to get on here and say this is 100% a safety move for Richard Allen. This is all 100% for his well-being, but I just can't go that far. I'm not saying it's nefarious, but my God, look at these situations.
In sworn affidavits, the 2 guards admit that they wore patches on their uniforms that can be associated with odinism, but they were ordered to remove them by their commander within just the past couple of weeks. Both guards say they do not practice odinism and they are not part of a radical hate group. They say they have never threatened Richard Allen or had any one-on-one conversations with him, and the warden at the jail says in a sworn affidavit that no one in the prison has ever been ordered to threaten, harass, or put Allen in danger. But the court records say that Allen was tased twice in May for not following the commands of prison guards.
Y'all can't sit here and tell me the state of Indiana legitimately cares about Richard Allen's well-being when they slapped that man in a prison before he was found guilty. Y'all can't tell me they're concerned about his safety and well-being when they were forcing medication in his body, keeping him in solitary confinement, driving that man nuts. Y'all can't tell me they're concerned about their safety when they put him in Westville immediately after he was found guilty, when it was in Westville that he dealt with all these issues. It was in Westville where he was dealing with the odinist guards. I mean, this whole situation is nuts. This move is just another strange move when the state did nothing but strange moves to get us to this point. I can't imagine this makes visitation any easier between him and his wife. This won't affect his appeal though. His appeal is about the record and what happened during trial, and that's moving forward to the best of my knowledge. I hope there's nothing nefarious going on right here. I'm not saying it is, but when you look at the other situations surrounding this story, the timing is certainly odd. And as soon as there's an update or more information, I'll let you know as soon as possible. You can go to Delphi Docs if you want to follow this case and follow these discussions. Defense Diaries doing full transcript readings. But if you enjoy this and a more fair, open conversation, maybe check one of these videos out. Y'all be safe now.